When the word castration comes to mind, you often think of males or surgical castration that happens on animals, also known as neutering. Did you know that in over 20 countries in Africa, females are castrated starting at the age of 4 going on up? Today we will focus on where castration is happening, at what age it happens, and why castration is happening. To begin with, let's talk about where female castration is happening. There are several tribes throughout Africa that take part in female castration. Kenya is one of the many places that are known that have many tribes in Africa that does this castration. There is one called Massa that practice female castration, and some of the women in this tribe also courts the process of it as well. There's also a tribe called Sindi that believe that women should be castrated by a certain age. The youngest I believe in this tribe has been 2 years old. Other tribes that practice female castration is Sindi and Hope, and they also hold ceremonies that revolves in removing the little girl's labia. It's also happening in the Middle East, in Asia, Australia, Central America, South America, just to name a few. However, it does not happen as often as it does in Africa. Now that we know where most females castration takes place, let's move on to what age it does, or what age does most females get castrated, and how it's also performed. It was said that most castration happens between the age of 4 to 12, sometimes 2, depending on what tribe they're in, whereas 4% also occurs under the age of 6, and 14.3% occurs over the age of 11. Most little girls are doing this procedure strapped down on a coat table where someone will hold them, and then another female, sometimes it would be the husband as well, will take a knife and remove their labia. These little girls, they're not given any medication. They might be given some alcohol at the time. It all depends on what the tribe and who's performing the procedure allows to happen. Once the procedure is done, they're stitched up, sent on their way to become women in the tribe and do the things that women are supposed to do. Things like this happen to children at a very, very young age in Africa. During the snitching, it's a small hole left so they're able to urinate and menstruate out of, and it can be very, very painful. This will affect little girls and sometimes grown women for the rest of their lives. It's said that 74% of children were never informed on what is about to happen to them, and a consent form in most countries I never thought of. Also, that 22% who have had the procedure done was either deceived, misled, misinformed, and it also is done so that wives won't have the desire to have sex or seek other men while their husbands were away or wasn't around. So now we know where the procedure takes place, at what age the procedure takes place, but we have no idea of why these procedures are happening in these other countries. In most tribes, it is known to be a part of their religion, where females are castrated at a young age. They also say it's to be pure for their husbands. And the stitches that they also get during the procedure, they aren't removed until they are married, and they are removed by their husband before they have intercourse, which they're young. But once they went from young girls to grown women by then. So you can only imagine how long those stitches have been in and when they were taken out. It was also known that in one tribe in Kenya, Western Kenya, an 18-year-old girl participated in what they call a traditional circumcise. During this time, after the little girl was castrated, she bled to death in a little small farmhouse. Now, these procedures are performed aren't performed in health aren't performed in health clinics. They are performed anywhere from small farmhouses. They also could be performed in front of crowds of people in unsterilized environments, in unsterilized situations. It all depends on where the tribe and what the tribe wants to happen. It's also known that in third world countries that this procedure is also is a sex prevention, and to it also to believe that they believe that this procedure is clean and healthy for a woman without thinking of the real and serious health risks that can happen. After hearing about female castration, as far as where it's happening, which is mainly in African cultures, African tribes and countries, and it's mainly happened between the ages of 6 and 12, and the procedures are mainly taking place as if it's just something to do that they do, as if it's a part of their religion, or is it a part of their culture. We as Americans will never know why this type of procedure is happening to little girls all over the world, nor will we think is it if it's a social taboo.